I was farting. Like, I was eating
Were you eating a
so
lot of
many eggs and
protein?
chicken, man. My body was like a giant gas chamber. Like, I was just like, too much gas.
You're
and
the
so much
closest to him
protein.
right now.
Hi everyone, this is Avanti Nagral and I'm in conversation with the cast of Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, Ananya, Siddhant and Adarsh exclusively for Sunday midday. Do you all currently feel khoya hua or settled in your lives?
I feel like I'm always spaced out.
Okay.
I space out like every
Same.
10-15 seconds. I start spacing out.
Wait, you've been spacing out. I was like, Adarsh is such a good listener because he's been so intentfully like.
He's like
looking
staring
at
at
us. While we've been talking, and I'm like, wait, he's just been spacing out the whole time.
No, I mean, I also do listen, but I also do space out a lot.
I mean, I feel like our generation
Yeah.
doesn't know how to sit still. We need stimulus every few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously the film also talks about that, right? Living in the digital and the kind of offline worlds. As actors yourselves and, you know, people with public presences, do you feel like the persona you show online is similar to the person you are? Or where do you draw that boundary?
I don't show much. That's the thing. I like to keep it a little private. So, मेरे पास कुछ है नहीं. I don't have so much to. So everything is through my characters on screen. And otherwise, I'm just chill. I'm just like a boy next door kind of a vibe.
I mean, I think each one of us is special, but I feel like there's also your little
Every child is
two-liners,
special.
chutkule.
That's the thing. I like to share my thoughts, more than my pictures. I like to write, so I keep sharing so that in a way to kind of validate my thoughts as well. You know, it's
course.
almost like a conversation with the world through text. It's that's the max I can, go. There was a point where I was doing a lot. That was right after my first film because, I mean, it was overwhelming and it was the first time I was receiving so much of love. So I was like, okay, let's show, let's be out there. And then I just got done with it very soon. And then I realized that, no, I need to work on myself as an actor. And the more I keep myself private, the better I can, deliver on screen. And anyway, we have a lot of competition from creators like you who are killing it. So I don't think we ever do that so well. I'll talk to people through cinema, and that's my thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Use that as your lens. What about you, Ananya?
I think the attempt has been to be as real as possible. That's what I've tried to do without giving away too much of my personal life. But as when I'm on it, I try to be as real as possible. If I can make someone feel comfortable in their own skin, that's why I try to be as real. Like, I've always owned my mistakes. I've always, not been afraid to mess up or say something wrong and be like, okay, cool, I did the wrong thing. I'll just be better the next time. So I want to show people that it's okay to not be perfect.
It makes you more human, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what people kind of want to see. Even you had started a movement so positive, right?
Yeah.
What was the intention behind that?
I think with cyberbullying, it's such a relevant thing, but I didn't feel like anyone was talking about it at that time, and people who were going through it didn't know how to deal with it. They didn't even know that there was a separate wing in the police that you can go and actually talk to, that there were people in schools that you could actually talk to, the helplines. So I think it was about access and kind of starting the conversation about it.
Kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Adarsh, first film was 13 years ago. Was that the first time you were on screen? Yeah. So you've been in that kind of limelight for a long time. Do you feel like you've had to have different personas or?
No, actually, never been in the limelight pre-White Tiger. I was just working, and I also wasn't serious about acting really. I was more serious about singing, and I got serious only about acting around 2016-17.
I guess, because you are also a singer, right? And do you
Yeah.
identify as an artist?
I do.
So do you feel this kind of identity, right, with the separation of your art and who you are as a person? Or do you feel like they're very similar when you sing about something or when you play a character?
You try to find the similarities first. That's your first instinct. But it's also, when I try to play a character, I also try to play characters that are further away from who I am, I think. Because I like the idea of being a spy and of being like pretending to be somebody else and believing in so much that you actually start believing that that's your reality. And I also probably like to do that because sometimes I feel like when life gets a bit too hectic, then I can adopt like a new person's problems.
Escape,
and the character's insecurities and the character's likes and dislikes become my likes and dislikes. So yeah, I feel like acting and performance and music in general helps me fulfill all these things.
And you get into that zone of
Yeah,
escapism.
yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like it's not just your profession though that does that. I think today everybody feels like they want some form of escapism, right? A lot of people curate their social media feeds. You see it in the film as well, where it becomes a form of escape, it becomes a form of scrutiny, people are constantly checking on each other. It's a hard line, right? Because you have to find what is true and what's not. When it comes to that space, I'm just a few questions. Number one, have any of you ever stalked anybody on the internet?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's very normal.
But do you feel like as a public person now in the roles that you are, it becomes easier, harder?
I do it with my real
Yeah.
profile also. I'm very shameless. I'm like,
You're like, oh, I want to search something, I
Yeah.
search it. No, that's totally fair. I think the hard line comes when you're trying to, as the three of you mentioned, keep parts of your personal life private, right? So
that's a task.
how does it feel, you know, for example, and the movie touches upon this too, right? When it comes to love or dating or relationships, do they feel real unless they are, you know, broadcast for the public, or in y'all's cases, you might be in relationships, not in relationships. How do you navigate that in the public eye?
I think the less so for us we keep it away, sometimes the more real it feels, you know, because I think it's probably one of the only things we can protect. Adarsh is very open about his relationship and everything, and he's very comfortable doing that. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think it depends on, like, you know, who you are, the person you're
what
with
your outlook
also.
is and what you,
Of course.
Yeah.
What makes you comfortable sharing?
I don't know. I just feel like there's not much to hide.
Totally fair.
Cute. Yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, it's chill only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have been in situations where I've had a relationship that I shared online, was public, and then the breakup ended up being public too.
Oh.
And it,
Archive.
no, and not even archive, because it exists, right? It was a part of your life.
Yeah, why
And
would
did that
I want to
become
forget
messy for
that?
you?
Yeah, it became very messy for me, and so I'm, you know, I'm curious because while this was happening, I was starting to understand what it was like to be in the public eye, you know, and have people watch you and have something like this amplified. And for all of you for whom your lives currently are, I wonder, do you think twice before you say go on a date to a public place, or?
Yeah, always.
Respect,
Absolutely, I'd
yeah.
like to keep it very, very private.
But do you think about it? Especially, I mean, that's the thing, right? When you're in a public space, you might attract somebody else who's also public because they will get it. So do you...
What is this, a therapy to kind of make me confess or what?
No. I'm just curious. Do you feel like...
Expressing myself on Instagram about my relationship.
not expressing yourself on Instagram.
I do on my city chats, man. Whatever I feel, I write it as poetry, and that's my form
That's
of...
your form of expression.
Yeah, and a lot of people kind of, you know, I don't want to put it's abstract, right?
Yeah.
There's no name to it, there's no picture to it, there is no face to it. So a
Yeah.
lot of people can use that or connect to that for their own partners.
Absolutely.
So I kind of channelize my, you know, the need for expression towards my partner, channelize in the form of art, and so that a lot of people can connect.
We all were given tasks to do, right? So Sid had to learn stand-up because that's what his character does, and Adarsh had to
course.
make his body. And my thing was as simple as lighting a cigarette, and I couldn't do it. Like, my hands would shake, and Arjun would yell at me. He said, "You just have to light it." I was like, "I can't do it, I can't do it." Yeah, but it has to look convincing on screen, and if that
Absolutely.
means that it's something that you have to practice in real life, as long as you're in the law and ethics, as
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
been
And
talking
also your
about.
health, it's not healthy.
Exactly,
No, absolutely.
exactly.
But we have to go through a lot of, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a...
So many, like, the hours that you work sometimes.
A lot of
the
things.
Changes in your body, your hair.
Body changes is
everything.
something. Body changes, because
Yeah.
he'll speak about it. You're psychologically shifted, you know, because I mean,
I was
I'll
farting. Like, I was eating
Were you eating a
so
lot of
many eggs
protein?
and chicken, man. My body was like a giant gas chamber. Like, I was just like too much gas.
you're
and
the
so much
closest to him
protein.
right now.
Well, I mean, you were really in character. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't
people who
have a
watch the
choice. I
film.
mean, I had to get the body, so like I had
Yeah.
to eat like so much protein.
Tell about
And
the
I just-
psychological shift which happened later after you had to put down, like, you stopped working out.
It feels almost weird to be speaking about your jawline and shit as an actor, you know.
I
but
get
like,
it, but-
it made me a bit dysmorphic weirdly. Like, cause before that I would
Yeah.
never think about like my body or whatever as an actor, you know. And then after that, now I'm just like, oh, like, why am I not as ripped as I was in the film? But like,
Yeah.
I can't be as ripped as I am in Kho Gaye because I'm playing a trainer in that. I'm playing something else in the next.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't make sense, but then your mind gets so used to that beautiful image that, you know, it's the best that you've seen yourself as.
Yeah.
And then you just want to like be like that. It's kind of weird, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a strange experience. It must
It's
be.
a weird
Yeah.
job, yeah.
Yeah, it is a strange. I'm curious, Ananya, because you know, you'd experienced dysmorphia. I feel like as
Yeah.
women, you experience dysmorphia all the time, especially because of social media and the beauty standards.
Terrible.
How do you deal with that? And how, you know, I'm sure people have comments all the time.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, before social media, it was in school. You know, in school you would
course.
just feel horrible about your body because people would be like, "Oh, you're hairy," or "You're too thin," or "You're this," or "You're that." So it's not just because of social media. It's been
Yeah.
there constantly. I mean, my only attempt is to be kinder to myself. When I started out also, I used to be on a very strict diet. I used to cheat on Sunday, and I used to fall sick because I used to eat so much, because I was depriving myself, because I wanted to look a certain way, or I thought I had to look a certain way. So I think I've become much kinder, because when I see my younger sister, I never want her to feel anything bad about her body. Like, I want her to be like, she is to me the most perfect person ever. And I want every young kid out there to feel that way about themselves. So the only thing I can do as a role model in that sense is to be positive and happy about my body in whatever shape or form it is, and promote just good health and happiness above everything else.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, since you brought this up, y'all filmed this, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
How did
1.5 years ago.
Last year.
1.5 years ago. How does it feel to see yourselves in that lens? Because I'm sure you've grown as actors, you've grown as people, your body's changed. Does it feel strange looking back?
It always does. Even if I shot something like 2 days ago, I'd be like, I could have done that better, I could have done that differently and stuff. But I think this film is like a time capsule. Like, every time I watch it or I watch anything related to this film, I go back to exactly how we shot this film, because it was that kind of... Like, some films are just special, and I think every actor will say that. Just the bonds that were created, the way it was shot.
I feel like for somebody to make their first film and to accomplish that with each and every character is a
really
market
tough.
genius, really.
As we wrap this up, what's one message you want a young person watching this to know or take away from the film?
Just go and hug your friends and don't stop hugging them.
I think celebrate your birthday with your family.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and even I don't do that. It's like I'm preaching, but I don't do that. But I want to do that from next year.
Be yourself, guys. The world is very noisy these days. Just focus on your work, be yourself, chill, just watch Netflix 26th of December.
Oh yeah, 26.
Don't watch anything on
No
Netflix,
gyan.
watch our film.
Watch
There's
Kho
so
Gaye
much gyan on reels anyway. तुम लोग बस मजे करो life में यार. Chill करो.
Yeah.
It was very good, yeah.
It was like a mix of therapy,
yeah,
but a relationship
it was
conversation,
very different kind of a-
lots
yeah.
of farting, talking.
Well, thank you all so much for watching.
Thank
and
Thank you so much.
Yes, don't forget to catch the film Kho Gaye Hum Kahan on the 26th of December on Netflix and experience the world and escape for a little bit yourself.
I'll finally let you find me. Find me. I hold on to nearly anything, like I've got nothing left to prove. Ooh, I hold on to nearly everything, like I've got nothing left to lose.